What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Top of the morning, you know what it is. Let's go. We gonna finish out this G.MAXWELL story out. Let's go. Let's get it. 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 Hey, chicken noodle soup. Chicken noodle soup. Chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side. I got that mix coming real soon. That chicken noodle go-go joint. Man, I just got so many ideas. That's just crazy. What's going on, y'all? How y'all feeling? What's going on? What's going on? Shout out to everybody here. Hit that like button as you come in. And as you go out, just hit that like button. As you come in and as you going out, just hit that like button. That's all. You know what I mean? Just hit that like button as you coming in and going out. We about to get started in a minute, y'all. I'm late, though. I'm real late. We will be back on the official DanaJay page very soon. Very soon. So let me just get these out real quick to who they have to go to. Let's see. You're gonna get it in real quick. Let me start off with this right here. Let's see.
A storm is coming.
Yes, sir. That's how we gonna open it up from now on. We gonna get that club on fire, baby. And we going. Let's go. Let's take off.
Reporting live from Baltimore, not the county. Baltimore, the real Baltimore, Baltimore City. You have Chelsea Nicole, and I know a lot of y'all do shows from Baltimore, but today you're gonna find out that you're not. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Chelsea. I come from a city where we don't acknowledge the state. The B shit is hooked in place. Watch how you speak about Baltimore, dummy. We had 990s all on your face. No matter the city, they all wanna know about the wire and killings all over the news. These bitches digging now Xing on my niggas. They keep on Xing if they can say T. I'm trying to tell them, Baltimore ain't even Baltimore. DC is not even on the road. I pay Virginia so much, get them shot while I'm on the road. Counties be claiming they honorable. I try to tell them to chill. Yeah, I try to tell them for real. Yeah, you can take me out of Baltimore, but I'ma still bring that Baltimore here. 4 wings, salt and pepper, catch up with the hot sauce. Can't sit long, shit get you knocked off. Always play mirrors, shit get you swiped off. We get them cooked up, chefs out, eyeball. Bitches is claiming that they from the city. Damn, I just can't help that we litty. If you really from the city, who that red bitch over east? On B, she get busy. K-Swift Baltimore, Club Mix Baltimore. We don't do go-go, we know they ain't Baltimore. Them niggas dragging, must be from Baltimore. Them bitches bad, ooh, they from Baltimore. 92Q on the radio, Baltimore. We hit them with the two-step giving Baltimore. They from security, no they ain't Baltimore. Anyway, it's everybody versus Baltimore. You from the west, that shit is Baltimore. Park Heights, the Avenue, that shit is Baltimore. Junction, the Village, that shit is Baltimore. Sandtown is rapping and stepping, is Baltimore. Pikesville and PG, nah, they ain't Baltimore. You from the north, that shit is Baltimore. Grandma and Cater, your road, Baltimore. Anyway, it's everybody versus Baltimore. Nah, I can't study the wire to work on my exit. Fuck out of here, niggas actors. I'm born and raised in the city. They drop a body and niggas act like nothing happened. For Freddie, we riot. It's up if they try us. How the fuck out states attorney indicted? One thing about this whole city be wildin'. Bippin' the act or haunted when rotting. Know it's they strengths if the party is poppin'. Gotta hit legends for the chicken boxes. Check Murder Inc. if you think they ain't startin'. Damn, even the youngest is bout it. But man, out rap is the talent, they think we ain't got it. Just want us known for the violence. City make hustlers, grind and get it from the bottom. 10 toes, my niggas silent. Was raised in the county, they rap so they claim in the city. What school you was in? Elementary. Crossing that county line, you looking iffy. You get the best shot or shot when at Jimmy's. Hit up the block if we all try and see us some ass. So dance for a quick little bag. Home of the Ravens, anywhere we gon' drag. Anywhere we get a bag. Down the hill is Baltimore. Brooklyn is Baltimore. Alameda is Baltimore. Arundel Mills not Baltimore. Owens Mills not Baltimore. Randallstown not Baltimore. Columbia not Baltimore. Edgewood not Baltimore. Up the hill that's Baltimore. Bel Air Road is
with you? What?
ACT, you see this?
Look, if it ain't official DanaJay, Levi for Kelly, or Prima Donna News, I don't even want to see it. Just take this off. Look, you got some weed? I gotta get some. All right, hurry up. Diesel and them here, everybody here, we waiting on you. All right.
I know that there's more. More for you, more for us.
DJ discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
DJ discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
DJ discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
Say you love it, what you gon' do now? Hope you're ready, cause I'm really about to put it down. Girl, you know that I will never disrespect you. We love tomorrow, but tonight I wanna spank you. That ass count, gotta make it last down. Start off slow, then I'ma beat it
Oh my God. DanaJay is going live. Oh my God. Y'all ready? Let's go. Dream Team, what's good? Shout out to everybody that's here. Prima, I see you at work. Fantasia, I see you at work. Everybody that's on that Grizzy this morning, shout out to all of y'all. Thank y'all for being here. EJ, what's good? Everybody, Mama Mary, everybody that I didn't say, oh my God. Look, I'll be all day naming folks, but I thank everybody that stopped over here this morning. We're going to continue to talk about surviving the government and the accusers of R. Kelly Motion 2. Dismiss and Maxwell Part 2. If y'all missed Part 1, go ahead and look at it from last night. But I got one thing to say to all the people that just want to sit and watch. I understand that I got a lot of haters out here. I understand that I got a lot of people who just try to steal commentary. But understand this, I'm your daddy. This goes out to y'all.
Thinking about sex since you hit the door. The way you move the booty is incredible. Gon' get your back on the floor. That body, baby, give me some more. Now when you're ready, just let me know. I'll take the top off so we can cruise. In exchange for life in the fast lane, baby, I can see the freak in you. Who holds the title, baby? Who could do it better than Daddy? Cockpit gon' drive you crazy, have you screaming out like you wanna have my baby. Who owns the title, baby? Who could do it better than Daddy? Cockpit gon' drive you crazy, have you screaming out like you wanna have my baby. Now, I won't about to make my move. See attitude got me in the mood. Your mouth said what your body could do. Now it's time to show and prove. And do you wanna feel how I work you, boo? I take you to ecstasy. Cause when your boy unleashed the dragon, baby, there ain't no stopping me. Holds the title, baby. Could do it better for Daddy. Gon' drive you crazy. Have you screaming out, you wanna have my baby. Who owns the title, baby? You could do it better for Daddy. That kid gon' drive you crazy. Have you screaming out like you wanna my baby? Soon as the detective who put the string in the middle of it, baby girl, you know you got to respect it. Who let you ride in the whip, take trips and always make sure that you're okay. Who's always on duty and smack the booty and call you my baby. So who holds the title, baby? You and Daddy. Gon' drive me crazy when you're out and they call it Daddy. My baby.
Let's go. Baltimore, stand up. This what we do, what we do. This what we do, what we do. Mama Mary in the building. So check this out. Baltimore, stand all the way up. That's what I said I'm going to do. I'm going to keep it home. I ain't going to go all the way around the world. I'm going to keep it home. because we got some of the hottest music to ever grace the airwaves. However, I ain't come to talk about Baltimore today. Oh yeah, DJ D Money, you already know that joint still go hard. I ain't come to talk about Baltimore today. I ain't come to talk about DC today. Even though I got something cooking with an old school classic with a go-go beat. D Money, when I finish it, I'm gonna send it to you so that way you can break it. I'm gonna do it differently. I'm gonna do the chicken noodle soup go-go version. Crush it. And I'm gonna get some DC rappers, a female that y'all seen over here a couple times, to spit original joint to the chicken noodle soup. But we ain't talking about that right now. I just get excited when I hear music, you know what I mean? So, shout out to everybody that's here. If y'all missed my live last night, I talked about the people and I read the motion from Ms. Bonjean in the Chicago case for R. Kelly, which clearly she destroyed it. It really shouldn't be a case because the statute of limitation ran out by over 10 years. Not 1 year, not 2 years, but by over 10 years. Some statute of limitations ran out 20 years ago. I'm just saying. At the end of the day, we know this is a witch hunt for that man not to see the streets again for whatever reason. So, I'm going to say this. I have to address this because not all Oak Cove is bad. Like I say, there's always some small apples that want to make it bad for everybody else. And I played that song, Who's Your Daddy, for that one reason. Because there's one lady, whose name I won't say, she comes on and in her title it says DanaJay as a whole clown out here. But I'm not the one who got on Judge Joe Brown. I think it was either Judge Joe Brown or Judge Mathis' show and made a complete ass out myself. I'm not the one that lied on my cousin's situation. Okay? I'm not the one that sat out there and said, well, Dana was doing security for R. Kelly in Chicago when he was on his big wheel. I'm not the one that said, oh, Dana was up there getting females for R. Kelly and I was only 6 years old. Make it make sense. So like I say, you got to be careful who you listen to. And she tried to spin it and say, well, Dana and Levi, are y'all working with the rest of the family? Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say in response to that. When you can tell the truth of what elementary school Dana was doing security at, then I'll leave it there. You know what I'm saying? What elementary school in Chicago Dana was doing security at? And I'll hit your cash app. Until you can tell that truth, your name should be The Lie. And I'm going to leave it there. And no, I'm not coming at you. I'm not coming at you because everybody have their entitlement to say what they say. But when you lied on me and said, I'm upset because Oak Cove ain't come to my defense against Rainbow Ski. Like, I never asked nobody for nothing. I fight my own battles. And I never looked for Oak Cove to do anything. when it came to that situation. However, I did say that the ones that don't like me on Oak Cove is defending the actions that brother portrayed. But when I portrayed not even similar, but just a little tad bit of those actions, everybody from Oak Cove had a problem with what I did when I didn't even do nothing wrong. So basically what I'm saying to you, sweetie, is that if you're going to come sweeping on this door, you got to make sure that your ducks are in order all the way around. It shouldn't be selective outrage out here. If one do something messed up, everybody should get, the same treatment. But I get it, I'm the big fish. So the treatment for me will be different while the mentally ill get overlooked. Somebody will catch that next week. However, we're going to jump back into this G.MAXWELL situation on how she was able to get her charges thrown out of court. And we left off at the analysis. The analysis. This is where we left off at, the analysis. It says a further summary of the 2 counts at issue is required, as briefly outlined above. Count 3 of the indictment charged the defendant under 18 U.S.C. 371. The general federal conspiracy statute, with conspiring to violate 18 U.S.C. 2423A, the Mann Act, by transporting minors across state lines with the intent to engage in sexual activity criminalized by state law. S2 indictment means Section 2 indictment 16 to 18. In this case, the relevant state offense was New York Penal Law Section 130.55, which criminalizes sexual contact with an individual known to be under the age of 17. Trial TR 3034-35, the count 3 conspiracy spanned from 1994 to 2004. Section 2 indictment number 17, as the government explained in its summation. The jury could convict the defendant under count 3 based on evidence related to Jane, Carolyn, and Annie Farmer. Wait a minute. It's a Jane and G.MAXWELL's too? I see they love that name Jane a lot. 3 victims who testified at trial. Count 5 of the indictment also charged the defendant under 18 U.S.C. 371, but for conspiring to violate 18 U.S.C. 1591A and B, the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, by trafficking individuals under the age of 18 for commercial sex acts that affect interstate commerce. Section 2 indictment 22 to 24. Count 5's conspiracy spanned from 2001 to 2004, which is 3 years. 23. The government explained to the jury that it could convict the defendant on count 5 based on evidence related to Carolyn and Virginia Roberts. Let's stop right there for a second. Something troubling me. I'm going to go back to the middle. Count 5 of the indictment also charged the defendant under 18 U.S.C. 371, but for conspiring to violate 18 U.S.C. 1591A and B, the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. So I have a question. They gave Rob the Mann Act, right? But if he was really trafficking so-called victims, why didn't the government try to use this 18 U.S.C. 371? And why didn't they use 18 U.S.C. 1591A and B? Which means that technically you can use this G.MAXWELL masterpiece to crush the government's own theory on Robert Kelly. What you mean, Dana? Okay, check it. 18 USC 1591 A and B, the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. By trafficking individuals under the age of 18 for commercial sex. Okay, they trying to say that Robert did that, but I have a question. If they didn't use this, if they didn't use this against Robert, then therefore there's no actual proof that he trafficked anybody under the age of 18 for commercial sex. Which means, on that note, how can you have a Mann Act? How can you have a Mann Act if the government didn't use either one of these? There's no proof that Robert trafficked any victims. So since they trying to say that he trafficked minors, why wasn't the Trafficking Victims Protection Act used against Robert Kelly in New York the same way they used it against G.MAXWELL? And they had more time to go at Robert versus G.MAXWELL. They had expand over 2 decades on Robert, but they only had 3 years with G.MAXWELL. Somebody make this make sense. Somebody make this make sense. Then it says the government explained to the jury that it could convict the defendant on count 5 based on evidence related to Carolyn and Virginia Roberts. Since when can you evict somebody due to word of mouth? Since when can you convict somebody due to word of mouth? So then it says the defendant primarily contends that count 5 is a subset of, is subsumed in, or is otherwise too similar to count 3 under the core factors. But check this out. The government argued, but the court agreed. Can somebody make this make sense? If the court is agreeing to what the defendant is saying, that means what? The government has lied yet again. And when the government is caught lying, they will go to any length to try to get you. So here's my question. 18 USC 1591 A and B, the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. I'ma ask again. Who was a victim in the R. Kelly case? Who was trafficked? So you can't halfway subset apply a law or a statute and don't apply it as a whole. So the whole is the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. They knew if they applied that as a whole, they would have to let them go because it would be destroyed. So instead of applying the proper United States constitutional mandate, they gave them a subset mandate to hold them, better known as the RICO Act. So under RICO, you can't get a bond. But under the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, your whole case will get destroyed if you're not directly on point of what somebody has done. So it says the court agrees, although some core factors favor the government. The weight of the factors, supplemented by a review of the government's case presented at trial, demonstrates that the government has not met its burden of proving by a preponderance of the evidence that the counts are not multiplicitous. So I'm going to ask y'all this question. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all think the government met its burden of proof when it comes to R. Kelly. Put a 2 in the chat if you think the government has fumbled when it comes to proving its burden of proof against R. Kelly in New York. I want to see this outcome. I got nothing but 2 so far. Nothing but 2 so far. So it says the offenses charge and common objectives both count. 3 and 5 are charged under the same statute. 18 USC 371. How is that possible? That's double jeopardy. For conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States. Here's the next question. Have anybody seen the United States before? Have anybody seen who the United States is? Who is it? What offense have I ever made against the United States? When have you ever talked to the United States? When have you ever had any contact with the United States? I'm going to give you one better. When a lawyer for the United States come out and say, I represent the United States, you ask a question. When was the last time you talked to the United States? I bet they won't answer you. If somebody say they talk to the United States, you have a right to face your accuser. And since the United States is the accuser, when have you ever talked to the United States? And if they try to prosecute you after that, you stay on, you want to confront the United States. Which will ultimately give you either a mistrial or your trial will get thrown out because you have a right to face your accuser. So it says, but going beyond this general level of similarity, the statutory objectives of the 2 counts differ. Meet 35 F3D at 669. Count 3 is a conspiracy to violate 2423A, and count 5, a conspiracy to violate 1591. These differing statutory objectives entail legal differences. Count 3, for example, charges unlawful sexual activity defined as sexual touching of a minor. We ain't see Robert charged with that. While count 5 charges commercial sexual activity with a minor. And each provision defines minor differently. Under 17 years old for count 3, but under 18 years old for count 5. Further, count 3 requires an agreement with intent to transport across state lines, while count 5's agreement requires only intent of sexual activity that affects interstate commerce. These differences push the first core factor in the government's favor. See Estrada 320 F3D at 182. Distinguishing between a conspiracy to distribute cocaine and one to distribute crack. United States versus Villa. Summary order. distinguishing between a 371 conspiracy to commit theft from an interstate shipment and to transport stolen property across state lines, and one to sell stolen property. The government, however, errs in suggesting that this factor alone is fatal to the defendant's multiplicity claim. To the contrary, no single core factor is dominant or dispositive. And courts in this district have found 2 conspiracy counts to be the same offense, even when they have different statutory objectives, because both counts can arise from the same agreement. Wow. 11 with an asterisk in front of it, concluding that conspiracies to defraud the United States and to commit mail and wire fraud were the same conspiracy as earlier conspiracy to use or transfer false IDs. After all, a single agreement to commit several crimes constitutes one conspiracy. United States versus Brock. The government implicitly conceded this point of law when it agreed to counts 1 and 3 were multiplicitous. Count 1 charges a conspiracy to entice minors to travel across state lines in violation of 18 U.S.C. 2422. And we seen the government try to use that in R. Kelly case, which Ms. Bonjean destroyed because he never enticed, coerced anybody, persuaded anybody to do anything. Despite distinct statutory predicates for these 2 371 conspiracies, the government did not contest that they were the same offense. Wow. Though count 5 is unquestionably less similar to count 3 than is count 1, the difference in statutory predicates does not end the matter. It is well established that a single conspiracy can contain multiple objectives, particularly if the objectives share important similarities as they do here. United States versus Salima and United States versus Arikri. Overlap of participants. The participants in the 2 conspiracies in counts 3 and 5 substantially overlap with one another. Of course, the defendant will always overlap between 2 allegedly multiplicious conspiracies. So their participation in both conspiracies have negligible, okay, I never heard that word before, negligible significance. More importantly here, Epstein was the defendant's primary co-conspirator in both conspiracies, and the government argued that in both conspiracies, the defendant played the same role of acquiring underage girls for Epstein to sexually abuse. They were, the government explained, partners in crime over the decade alleged in the indictment. For a decade, the defendant played an essential role in this scheme. This overlap in key participants and in core roles played by those participants significantly favors the defendant. As to the second core front factor, the government responds that count 5 conspiracy included Sarah Kellen, who was not involved in count 3. Yet Kellen received far less attention than other conspirators in the government's case, being mentioned only briefly in the government's opening statement and closing arguments. E.g. trial TR at 2876, noting, and sometimes Sarah Kellen would call too. Conspiracies often change membership without forming a new, distinct conspiracy. Listen, conspiracies often change membership without forming a new, distinct conspiracy. So when I told y'all, and when I told the people, leave Don Russell alone, that's how they was able to slap Robert with the RICO Act, because Don had people on the internet knowing about what he was doing. That's all you got to do is know. If you on the phone with him, if you giving him an interview, if you giving him a platform to talk, that's all you got to do is know. Guess what? You could have been part of the RICO Act as well. But, you know, Dana don't know what he's talking about, but it's right here in your face. And it clearly says, conspiracies often change membership. How many times have we seen Don Russell go to different platforms? How many times have we seen different people speak out and say they believe Don? How many people have we seen speak out and say Don is the muscle? How many people have we seen speak out and say, oh, we believe that Don is the right person, even when the black and white says that Don made bonehead decisions without Robert even knowing, i.e. his mama. So it says conspiracy often change membership without forming a new. It's the same old lie. Rob made me do it. Rob did this. Rob did this. Rob knew I was doing this. But they changed membership without forming a new conspiracy. Distant conspiracy. Well, those people don't live within miles of each other, states of each other, but they all jumped in to form what they felt was the right thing to do, which was nothing but an add-on to a conspiracy. And it's not over. They still can be brought in. And you got the dude in Bolingbrook. He had Don at his work location. He takes up for Don, all that. He gets on there and say Don even paid him. Who jokes about that? You got the dude in Texas. Don paid for his hotel for a month. Don helped him move. He had Don on the channel a couple times. Don was on his channel giving him instructions. So everything we see in G.MAXWELL case, you can relate it to the R. Kelly case. How can you do it? Because it's right there in your face. It's right there in your face. It is you who is scared to take a look at what's really going on. But it's sitting right there in your face. How much more do you need before you realize that the RICO is not over? And you got the lady in Conyers, Georgia, who should have been booked, who's still trying to run amok. But then it says, particularly if key members of the conspiracy remain over the course of a decade. See United States versus Appolito. Kellen's participation began in 2001. Therefore, does not shift the importance of the second core front factor. Overlap of time. The time periods of the two counts overlap completely. Namely, count 5, period of 2001 to 2004, is wholly within the time frame of count 3 from 1994 to 2004, which substantially favors the defendant of this core front factor. United States versus Calderon. The government's attempt to minimize this factor by noting that most overt acts for count 3 occurred in the 1990s is simply not reflected in the circuit's case law. See E.G. Machie. Focusing on the overlap in time frame alleged in the indictment. The overlap in time here raises the inference that one that one conspiracy wholly encompasses the other, and that inference tips in the defendant's favor. Wow. Similarity of operations. Counts 3 and 5 involve significant similarities in operations. The methods by which the defendant groomed and facilitated the sexual abuse of minor victims was a central focus of both parties' case at trial. The government called as an expert witness Dr. Lisa Rocchio, who identified the typical steps in sexual abusers, grooming of minors for sexual abuse. Trial TR at 714 to 719, applying that expert testimony to the witness's testimony. The government argued that the defendant's conduct as to each victim followed a uniform playbook. She ran the same playbook again and again and again. She manipulated her victims and she groomed them for sexual abuse. The patterns you saw through this trial, the playbook that Maxwell ran for years, is just one of the many ways that you know that Maxwell is guilty. The government emphasized the many similarities in the defendant's conduct as recounted by all 4 witnesses. The similarities between what happened to Jane and Annie and Carolyn and Kate are incredibly powerful evidence of the defendant's guilt. So I want to talk to you about the playbook that Maxwell ran again and again. 2901. 4 women have testified at this trial about Maxwell. They all described the same woman, the same playbook. Carolyn was the only witness who testified regarding count 5. The government argued that her testimony was corroborated by what Annie and Kate and Jane told the jury about Maxwell and how she operated for years. ID at 2880, 2895 to 296. Maxwell groomed both Annie and Carolyn as part of a broader agreement with Epstein to provide him with underage girls for abuse. The government, in short, argued that the defendant engaged in substantially the same operations for a decade, as to all victims under both counts 3 and 5. The government responds that while the defendant and Epstein continuously conspired to sexually abuse minor victims, their conduct beginning in 2001 evolved from developing one-on-one relationships with their victims to include a pyramid scheme of abuse by which they acquired underage girls by paying them for so-called massage appointments. To be sure, the government in both its opening statement and its closing arguments explain that the defendant and Epstein abuse evolved over the course of a decade. I'm going to stop right there for a second, because I got something to say. If they had all that evidence, which they say they had and they showed and all of that, right? And they didn't have half of that for Robert. Why is Robert sitting in jail and they giving him a hard way to go, but Ghislaine Maxwell just got her charges thrown out? Make this make sense. Jeff Epstein is dead, allegedly, but they talking as he is still alive. Did this make sense to anybody? Hey, Ann, did this make sense to anybody? I'm just saying. I'm just giving you a little bit. That's just a little bit. It's 12:06. Y'all go get some lunch. Y'all with me all day today. I'm here all day today. I'll be back 2:30. Y'all go get some lunch. All right? God bless you all. And before we go, her charges weren't dropped. The sentence was reduced. Oh. Prima said her charges weren't dropped. The sentence was reduced. So counts 3 and 5 didn't get thrown out, Prima? That's why I love it over here. Because we help one another. I'm going to see what Prima say after that. But I want to go to the end. I want to see what happens. Because this got everything in it. And if anybody want this paperwork, just email me. I'll send it to you. I want to see what the overall thing was saying. What did this judge say? The court rejected the defendant's request to limit the charge to requiring travel from Florida to New York. Okay. No constructive amendment occurred as the count. Whoa, wait a minute. Let's see. Let's see conclusion. Hold on. Nah, Prima. Hold on. Okay. Okay, I see what happened. Okay. I see what happened. Okay, I see what happened now. Oh, okay, I see what happened. No, actually, Prima, I'm gonna send it to you. No, actually, both of us was right. I just went to the last page to read it. Yo, there's some heavy stuff in here. Because her counts 1 through 5, right? Her counts 1 through 5. Actually, counts 3, 4, and 6. She only got to do 15 years, right? Because they carry a 5. Well, not even 15. I'm saying 15. Counts 3 carry a 2-year minimum. Count 4 carry a 5-year minimum. And count 6 carry a 5-year minimum. But remember, they said they wasn't charging her with a count 6. And they was only charging her with counts 1 through 5. So, yeah. I'm going to send it to you because I ain't going to tell it all because then people going to be like, well, I don't need to read it then. So, yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy how the government reassessed that. She go from getting life to only 12 years. 15 at the most. Are you serious? And then a lot of that might get cut down because they say count 6. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna tell y'all, and we just gonna get to that point. I ain't gonna tell y'all, we gonna get to that point. So look, y'all get some lunch. I'll be back at 2 o'clock. And we gonna listen to some Kales, you know what I mean? Real quick. Real quick. Or do we want to listen to Kales? Let's see. See what I can. Okay. Okay. Do I want to listen to some Kales right now? Let's see. Let's see what I can bring out the woodworks for Kales, so we can get our little groove on real quick. Let's see what I can bring out. Yeah, Prima, I'm about to send that to you as soon as I end this live. I'm going to send it to you. You're going to be like, whoa. Whoa. You're going to be like, is this accurate? Is this for real? Here it is. Let's see what I want to do. Let's go.
Still on the money chase. Kills in the PM. All business. Bitch, alcohol, music. Oh Lord, it's a bunch of bad bitches. Know that pussy killer, I'm about to be a victim. R.I.P., I'm about to get that, that's the business. I'ma lick her down in the bed, fuck, eating in the kitchen. Yeah, I'm about to make your nigga jealous. Fly them propellers in my jealous, it ain't nothing you can tell us. Yeah, now you mad, you ain't know about me. I'm the king, nigga, better not bring you hoe round me. I tell her, yeah. You know what it is, yeah. One rule, no catching, no feelings. Yeah, I ain't seen no ring on it. Put her on the mic and I made her sing on it. Yeah, keep it 100. You don't really want it, you want it 'cause I'm on it. Yeah, she was yours before. She ain't with you now. No, she ain't with you now. She ain't with you now. Though. She ain't with you now. She ain't with you now. She ain't with you now. Though. She ain't with you now. 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 Couple things you don't know about her. Money bring the freak up out her. See a nigga get to flashing them dollars. Now we walking out the club like holla. Park the car on the sidewalk. In the mall, get straight to the Gucci. Shawty walking like a catwalk. In the hotel, straight to the booty. See, I don't want no problems. Believe me, nigga, for your sake. Call me Mr. Lotto. I want that ass like a sweepstake. Yeah, your bitch chose me. Your bitch chose me. Cause she want a real nigga who can take her to the next level. Elevate. And you can't afford no bitch like this. Your money too short. Abbreviate. Yeah. You know how it is, yeah. One rule, no catching, no feelings, yeah. I ain't seen no ring on it. Put her on the mic, then I made her sing on it, yeah. Keep it 100, you don't really want it. You want it 'cause I'm on it, yeah. She was yours before. She ain't with you now, though. She ain't with you now. She ain't with you now, though. She ain't with you now, baby. She ain't with you now. She ain't with you now. She ain't with you now, though. She ain't with you now. She ain't with you now. She ain't with you now. She ain't with you now, though. She ain't with you now. 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 And I know you had her first, but I didn't see no ring upon her finger. I don't know why you tripping. Should've never let her go. 'Cause one mistress is another mistress. She ain't with you now, though. She ain't with you now. 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 Said I wanna take her. Dipping on pool. Just gon' pour a lugar there. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah.